Hey everyone, it's Rob from Active Health Clinic here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to take your pulse rate or your heart rate very easily without needing any devices like phones or smartwatches or heart rate straps, anything like that. So what we're going to be doing is taking our radial pulse. So radial is just in reference to the radius bone, which is in our forearm, and we'll be taking it from the radial artery, which is just next to the radius bone in the forearm. You can use either your left or your right, okay, and all you really need is just your opposite hand to feel where that pulse is. So I'm also going to try and teach you a little bit of anatomy as well, in case you care. So it's going to be a little bit awkward, but I've kind of drawn some surface anatomy on my forearm, okay? And I use this surface anatomy to find where my pulse is. So the two lines there, they're tendons, okay? I've drawn over the top of them. So this is my left wrist, by the way, just for reference. And closest to my little finger is a line that indicates the palmaris longus, okay? And then right next to that, closer to the thumb side, is the flexor carpi radialis. I just had to check on my screen that I was giving you correct information about that. I've kind of forgotten. Okay, and the third piece of, or the third anatomical landmark that I like to use is on the radius bone itself. So there's a little pointy bit, so I've kind of drawn a bit of an arrow there. Oh, I'm sorry, it's very awkward to do this. And that little pointy bit is also called the styloid process. And that I remember, it's just seared into my brain because my anatomy teacher, when I was doing myotherapy, he had this joke. He'd say, if I was a rapper, I'd call myself styloid process. So it was just a nerdy, something funny and nerdy. Anyway, that aside, Josh, if you're watching, this is for you. So I use these two landmarks, or these landmarks, to find where the radial pulse is. Okay, so what I like to do is just with my opposite hand, just drag across those two tendons until I find the styloid process. So it feels like it's hard and it's pointy, okay? And then once I've found that, I just come down, up my forearm, probably about, like half a finger to a finger's width, and that's X marks the spot just there. And that is bang on where my radial pulse is, okay? So once you've found that, it's important to use your index or your middle finger, not your thumb, because your thumb has its own radial pulse, okay? So that will get confusing. So use one of those two fingers, or I like to use both, and just stick it there. So you actually need to apply a fair bit of pressure. Now some people have a really heavy pulse, some people have a very weak pulse, okay? So if you've got a heavy pulse, it's easier. If it's weak, it's harder. But it's best just to rest your forearm somewhere nice and relaxed, allow those muscles to relax, and then just jam those fingers in there. And hopefully you will feel your pulse. The next thing you want to do is set a timer for 15 seconds. And then count you can probably hear Luna, my dog, in the background, barking for food or something. And you want to count the number of beats you feel under your fingers for 15 seconds. Once you've got that, multiply it by 4, and that will give you your beats per minute. The reason we don't count to an entire minute or count the beats inside a minute is because a minute's a long time for the pulse to change. So if you've been exercising and you stop and take your pulse for a minute, that's a long time for it to slow down. So 15 seconds is actually more accurate than taking counting the amount of beats per minute. Hopefully that makes sense. Once you found it, hold 15 seconds, times that by 4, that's your beats per minute. All right, all the best guys, good luck with it. See you in the next video.